Okay, so there's 8 theories of attraction. Number 1 is appearance. In the initial stages of meeting someone, the way we view them is linked to our observation in their appearance. We're drawn to them based on what they look like. As we mature and our relationship develops, the appearance becomes less important and personality has a bigger impact in the long run. Number 2 is similarity. The theory that birds of a feather flock together. We like people that are similar to us in terms of values, ethics, and morality. 2 people that are similar have a more successful relationship. Complementarity is number 3. That's the theory that opposites attract. Extroverts and introverts work well together because they're teaching each other something. We have a need for diversity in our relationships that keeps things interesting. Number 4 is competence. We want to be with people that we see are at the same level of ability as us. We like people that are skilled and able in whatever fields we choose are important. Number 5 is social exchange economic theory. We stay in the relationship if what we're getting meets or exceeds what we're giving. In that case, the giver usually leaves the relationship first. We want a greater reward than what we're giving out. Number 6 is self-disclosure. Self-disclosure has to be there or the relationship wouldn't exist. We enjoy getting back the same kind and amount of self-disclosure that we reveal to our significant others. Number 7 is reciprocity. We like people who we think like us. Number 8 is proximity. We don't develop relationships with people who our paths never cross. So people that we meet in the same frequented chat rooms or gas stations or grocery stores are the people that we're going to develop relationships with, not the people that we never know.
We're going to discuss the definition and characteristics of relationships. In a relationship, you must have a mutual consciousness, which is where the parties know each other, a mutual perceived bond, which is the type of relationship, the mutual influence upon each other, which is that you have an impact on the other person's existence. We're going to build our communications garden. As a relationship begins, it's like a seed that is constantly changing. As the relationship gets further, it builds over time, becoming a longer stem. As it reaches the importance in a relationship, you have the fact that it is either a life, death, or breath relationship, meaning it is either very good for you and starts your flower of communication, or it's really bad for you and you should just cut that off. The types of relationships that you can have are marriage, family, romantic, work, and friends. All of these relationships are affected by the culture that we grew up in and how that culture views those types of relationships. The way we interact with different people depends a lot on the kind of relationship that we have with them. For example, if our grasshopper lands on the work pedal, he is more likely to treat someone with the respect of a workplace as opposed to a family member where teasing and other things might be acceptable.
There are 3 main points to why we form and maintain relationships. The first one is to fulfill needs. Needs such as food, safety, self-esteem, self-actualization. To fulfill all these needs, we maintain and form these relationships. The second one is to learn to be loved and to love. And the thing with this one is we need to learn to be loved before we could actually love ourselves and others. The third one is to achieve intimacy, which means what gives us fulfillment and belonging and love. And there's actually 4 more parts to this. The first part to achieving intimacy is the dimensions, which also means the types of intimacy. The first one is physical, which is the feeling of touch, but nonverbal. The second one is intellectual, which means developing intimacy, exchanging important ideas with one another. The third one is emotional. It comes when people read you based off of your emotions, you're exchanging feelings with one another. And then the fourth one is shared activities, which you're engaging in the same things. You guys are doing stuff together, for example, work, shopping, exercise, sports, whatever you guys do together. The fifth one is psychological. It's when you know how someone's brain works. The sixth one is spiritual. It's shared perspectives of spiritual worlds. And the last one, sexual. This one requires emotional as a minimum to actually get to this part of intimacy, but it could interfere with many of these before you could actually get to this one. So continuing with the parts of achieving intimacy, the second one is masculine, feminine styles. The third one is cultural influences. The fourth one is intimacy and mediated communication. And the very last one is the limits of intimacy. Going back to masculine, feminine styles, women have been known to be more willing to share thoughts and feelings rather than men. The female to females are at the top of the disclosure list. The females are just better known to have better relationships, I guess you can say, but that's just a generalization. They say that just because people say it doesn't mean it's typically true, just found in more women than men. The third one is cultural influences. In the past, intimacy was more public than it is today, and intimacy also varies in different countries. It's just different depending on your culture, and the cultural differences in intimacy are becoming less in today's world. The fourth one is intimacy and mediated communication. That means nowadays electronics are used to be viewed as impersonal. Now relational intimacy can grow faster actually through the internet, and people do use the internet as a form of a way to grow a relationship. The last one is the limits of intimacy. Most people want 4 to 6 close relationships. They keep a limit on how many relationships because it is too much closeness to have an intimacy relationship with everyone.